Owámniyomni Okhódayapi. Dakota chaje mak upi ke shishokaduta makiapido. The makota bede hadakia oyanke hechia tahanwa hido. Ampetu kinde wachike mashipe he on wahido. He wo yu oni hantanka hecha. Ampetu kinde wache waki ektedo Dakota ia wache waki ektedo chen. Dakota-yapi ke mokoche kinde etaha he he toka he Dakota waikte he han chistir washicho waikte ate wakantanka tunkashira ampetu kinde namakun wo wana wache wakikte shishokaduta makiapido ampetu kinde hipe change makoche kinde kichu pikte. Dakota oyate ke makoche kinde hechia taha hipe do. Wichoi chache ota dechi tipe. Ka makoche kinde Owámniyomni. Ka hekta hana washicho oyate ke hipe ka makoche kinde manupe. Ka wana hinach ded yakumpe. Tunkashino wakantanka wana ake makoche kinde Owámniyomni pikte. Heche tokata ke wichoicha che ota kaha. Takoja wichoicha che techa kihana. Makoche kinde akamani pikte. Kanakun wachupa koza ka wamanicha ka hocha ka wabidushkara. Hena oyate owas. Hena ija. Heripikte ka dechia tipikte. He o ampetu kinde wopira tanka unkeni chiapido. Midakuyawase. My Dakota name Shishokaduta, and I'm a Dakota person enrolled at the Lake Traverse Reservation. I say a prayer in our Dakota language first. Our language comes from this land, and so I offer these words and to honor this special occasion. In this event today. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe, for grounding us where our thoughts should be at this particular moment, which is with our Native community. Just standing here, you feel the gravity of the work that's been underway and the work that's going to happen in the next several years. We are standing right here at the birthplace of Minneapolis. This is where they milled the grain. But more importantly, this has been a home, a sacred spot for Dakota people for thousands, even tens of thousands of years prior to that time. And so while for the last 150 years or so, we have known this is a place that is recognized as Minneapolis. The true name is Owámniyomni Okhódayapi, and it is the name that we are going to recognize these falls as once again. This has been an important and sacred place for our Native community for thousands of years, and in the last couple hundred we have not recognized it as such. From the city's perspective, this work has been 10 years in the making. I worked on this project as a council member, and it truly was Owámniyomni Okhódayapi, this incredible group of people that came forward to figure out how we see this place as not just a place of industry, but a place of healing, of art, of culture, of creativity, recognizing this spot for the sacred location that it is. And the work of so many people needs to be honored and needs to be recognized. But first, I do want to thank the leadership of Owámniyomni Okhódayapi, because today we're taking a powerful step in that we will be transferring this land back to Dakota stewardship through OO. They have done amazing work, and we're proud to stand together with so many Dakota tribes, the Midwakaden, Tintawita, Chanshe-Yape, Pezi Hutazizi. These are some incredible tribes that are going to be, through Owámniyomni Okhódayapi, taking over stewardship of this land. This moment is historic, and it recognizes, again, the place that it has been known as and the place that it should be known as going forward. None of this happened overnight. It would not happen without partnership and collaboration, true collaboration between the city, with the federal government, with OO, and 4 Dakota tribes, with the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board, with Indigenous nations, with community partners, all coming together around a shared vision. Additionally, there are so many people at the city and beyond that I want to thank. I want to thank Shelley Buck and everyone at OO that has done the work to make this particular day happen. As I said, I want to thank the 4 Dakota tribes. I want to thank Colonel Eric Swenson and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. I want to thank the late Paul Rielts and his wife Mary, who helped found Owámniyomni Okhódayapi, and the whole Rielts family. Councilmember Michael Rainville, who is here with us, is going to speak in just a second. Again, the whole MPRB, and then our city teams, specifically the Minneapolis Convention Center Executive Director Jeff Johnson, our CPED, Arts and Cultural Affairs, our Public Works team, our COO, Margaret Anderson Kelleher, and so many more that have made this happen. So again, this is a both moment of celebration, but you can't help but feel the gravity of the work that we're presently doing. And so I want to thank everybody for being here. With that, I'll turn it over to Councilmember Michael Rainville.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Councilmember Michael Rainville, and I just wanted to take the opportunity today to thank the wonderful staff of Meet Minneapolis, Eric Hansen, Ben Johnson, and in particular Jeff Johnson for shepherding this forward. The mayor and I get to stand before you and take all the credit and the vows, but it's the staff that really does that hard work. And I also want to thank Shelley Buck for her patience. She's been the guiding star for this. She's shepherded us through this difficult time. So let us all begin the healing that is so necessary to return the land back to its native community. And let's celebrate today for the wonderful day it is. With that, I'd like to introduce President Shelley Buck.
Padambayaye, thank you, Councilmember Rainville, Mayor Frey, and all of our partners who are here today. Owámniyomni Chante Washtea Nape Chiyujapi, Dakota Ia Patewachoda Makiapi, English Ia Shelley Buck Makiapi. Hello, my relatives. I greet you with a good heart and handshake. My Dakota name is Minnie Buffalo. My English name is Shelley Buck. I am honored to be the president of Owámniyomni Okhódayapi. I want to thank you for joining us today at Owámniyomni along the Hahawakpa, the Mississippi River. Owámniyomni means turbulent waters, and it's a place of deep cultural and spiritual significance for the Dakota people. For thousands of years, our ancestors have come to this sacred site for ceremony, for peaceful trade, and to connect with the spiritual world. For generations, Dakota people stewarded this land, caring for our plant and animal relatives, following our values and traditional practices. Industrialization and colonization changed that. The falls were engineered, the native landscapes were replaced with mills, and the presence of Dakota people here was all but eliminated. While our connection to the site was strained, it could never be broken. The spirit and power of Owámniyomni is alive and present today, just as Dakota people are. And thanks to our partnership with the City of Minneapolis and the Minneapolis Park and Rec Board, along with our dear friend Paul Rielts, who founded Friends of the Falls and transitioned it to Dakota leadership, Dakota people will once again become stewards of this land. Today, we celebrate an important milestone through the exclusive rights agreement between the City of Minneapolis and Owámniyomni Okhódayapi, which positions us to reclaim this land. Under the agreement, we move one step closer to the federal government transferring the land directly to us as the city's designee. As we celebrate this step, we recognize there is more work to be done to see this long and complex process through. We continue to work closely with the federal government to convey the land to us in 2026. Until then, Owámniyomni Okhódayapi excuse me, is working with the 4 Dakota tribes in Minnesota and Dakota knowledge keepers across the diaspora to plan for the site's future transformation. We're developing a design that encourages Dakota people to use the land in traditional ways, rebuilding vital spiritual connections and restoring the native plantings and habitats that are indigenous to this area. It's why we call our work land reclamation rather than land back. We will steward it with the same respect and values as our ancestors. At the same time, we recognize Owámniyomni is not only a place sacred to the Dakota, it is a place of shared importance to many who call Minneapolis and Minnesota home. Our vision is to create a place of healing, beauty, and belonging that is open to everyone. I'm confident that with our partners, we will make that vision a reality. And I look forward to welcoming everyone back here in a few years to really enjoy and embrace the beauty and the natural piece that Owámniyomni is. Owámniyomni, thank you. And now I will turn it over to my dear friend, Margaret Anderson-Kelleher.
Good afternoon. I'm Margaret Anderson-Kelleher. I have the honor of serving as the City Operations Officer for the City of Minneapolis. I want to thank the Mayor, Councilmember Rainville, President Buck, and President Abene, who'll speak in a moment, from the Park Board. I also want to say thank you to all the city staff again. The mayor recognized many of the people so involved in this work. We also want to thank the City Attorney's Office. Any land transfer has a lot of legal work to it, and I'll just pause for a moment. The work to do this land transfer is a complex project. I've spent much of my career working with tribal nations, particularly with Dakota people, and also making sure that people in both state and local government understand how important land transfer is. And this is such an important place in Minnesota that we can share and learn together from. I also want to talk a little bit about the timeline here, that when this happens next year and the federal government does the official transfer, it'll be about a 25-year agreement that will go into place. And the 4 Dakota tribes who are here in Minnesota still, and as President Buck said, the diaspora of Dakota people all across the country will have a say in how this comes together and how to welcome everyone into this space that is so spiritually important and also culturally important to all of us. We are also very excited to partner in this way. It's actually rare to have a land transfer happen that is not contiguous to a reservation or to property that is owned by tribes. And so this is one of a few places in Minnesota where that will be happening, and how special that is, that we are all part of the stewardship of this land transfer and this land reclamation. I'd like to introduce to you the president of the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board, Kathy Abene.
Thank you. The Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board is honored to be part of such an important, transformative, cooperative, collaborative project. Most of the Mississippi River shoreline through Minneapolis is parkland, preserved for and accessible to the people. We are excited for the city's transfer of federal land, which is adjacent to parkland, and for the opportunity to work together with Owámniyomni Okhódayapi on developing cultural spaces and educational programming. Preservation and public access to the river and lakes in the city was the Park Board's mission early on. 142 years ago, we secured land that is now Nicollet Island Park. Within the last 50 years, we developed the Central Mississippi Riverfront Regional Park with parkland spanning both sides of this nation's greatest river, embracing its only falls and serving almost 3 million visits a year. 3 years ago, we joined with the city and Owámniyomni Okhódayapi on this journey. The Park Board is proud to be standing here today as this land is returned to those who stood here long before anyone imagined a riverfront park in a city of nearly 500,000 people. We know this land is sacred and that the Dakota have much to share. To build upon Owámniyomni Okhódayapi, what they have envisioned for the lands around the loch, the Park Board entered into a cooperative agreement with OO, allowing the transformation of adjacent parklands to be designed, restored, and programmed as a single experience based on the stories and traditions of the Dakota. We truly appreciate the leadership and diligence of Mayor Frey and city staff, and I have to also say the Park Board staff who worked on this, in bringing all of us to a point where we can be celebrating the transformation discussed among us for so long. We're especially grateful for the patience, insights, and talents of President Shelley Buck and others at OO as they engaged our parks community and refocused our vision so that we might begin to see this land and the river through their eyes. And with that, I'll turn things over to Mayor Jacob Frey for questions.
So thank you, everybody. Again, there's so many people to thank. Someone who I neglected to thank is Kirsty Munson, who has done an amazing job throughout helping to navigate the process and ensuring that this transfer of land would ultimately take place. So with that, I'll open it to questions that you might have.
Mayor, how does this move fit into our efforts towards reconciliation with Indigenous communities?
Yeah. Well, obviously, this is part of it. This particular land transfer is arguably the most important and sacred spot to Dakota people in our city. Obviously, there are many sacred spots throughout the state of Minnesota, and we wanted to take affirmative steps rather than have everything just be rhetoric. So rather than talking about doing this work, we wanted to actually see it through, partner with Dakota people, and make sure that this was not just something that was lip service. Again, this is not the only step. This is the first of many. Anything else?
Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.